Hello and warm welcome to another edition of the Fadu Network News Review today, Monday 10th September 2018. I am Omar Wali. I will start with before starting with the newspapers, I have some breaking news. There are some resignation from the APRC party, and the former British Prime Minister Tony Blair met President Barrow today at State House. That is the story I'm going to start with today. Today at State House in Banjul, President Barrow received Tony Blair, the former British Prime Minister and the Executive Chairman of Tony Blair Institute for Global Change. Speaking to the State House media team after a closed-door meeting, former Prime Minister Blair expressed delight at working with President in improving the capacity of the government to ensure its delivery for the people. He said the government has a key priority areas to deliver on, and to institute. The institute also will bring in people that will work alongside with the people in the Gambia to accelerate progress of the country. That is the news we got from the State House. I will also be talking to M.A. Ba, who was a prominent member of the former ruling APRC party. We have received information that he has finally resigned from the APRC party. But before that, I will start with the Standard newspaper. Sees APRC vehicles used by the government officials. The interim chairman of the APRC party, Fabakary Tombo Njada, told journalists that the vehicles that were seized from the APRC party are now being used by government officials. He made these remarks during a press conference over the weekend. And he also talked about the former National Assembly Majority Leader also said he also called on the government to ask the economic forces in the country to leave, saying that the Gambia is not at war and that it cannot rely entirely on economic for its security forever. Fabakary also said it is only Gambians who can ensure there is security in this country. And Barrow tells previous Taiwan ties a huge mistake. President Barrow recently returned from China, where he told the Chinese President Xi Jinping that the relationship between the Gambia and China on Taiwan, the relationship Gambia had with Taiwan was a huge mistake. President Barrow told President Xi Jinping last Thursday that the Gambia's previous ties with Taiwan had been a huge mistake, and he thanked China for all the help it has given subsequently. During President Jawara's time, Gambia had a diplomatic ties with China, mainland China. But when Jammeh came in, Jammeh had ties with Taiwan. Now Gambia in 2016 reverted to the mainland China, and China resumed ties with the Gambia in 2016 after it ended formal relations with Taiwan claimed by China as a Weiwo province with no right to diplomatic relations. And two African countries that have since followed suit were Sao Tome and Principe and Burkina Faso. And the Gambia Press Union new president speaks to the Standard newspaper is reporting that Sheriff Bojang Jr. was elected the president of the Gambia Press Union. I will have him in the studios here later, and he also promised that he will improve the standard of journalism in this country. He made this remark shortly after he was elected as the president of the Gambia Press Union. And a man beats daughter to death. The Standard also is reporting that one Mr. Korka Barry has allegedly beat his daughter, leading to her death. According to sources in the village, Korka administered corporal punishment to her daughter Mariama, and she collapsed. The daughter she collapsed, excuse me, and the father then rushed her to nearby Latria Health Center, and then rushed her to Sukuta, and she passed away at the Royal Victoria Teaching Hospital in Banjul. And Gambian guards to take over State House security. That is, Standard also is reporting that it's 150 security officers who completed their 6-month training in Senegal has returned home on Thursday. And the sources close to State House said the officers are expected to begin at work at the State House within the week, and while take over from the Akomic at State House. There's 150 personnel were sent to Senegal for training, and they completed that training. They are back in the country, and they will take up the security of the State House from the economic forces. And the new Gambia cannot be realized unless our new Gambia, that is the former Interior Minister Mai Ahmed Fati, said that the leader of the Gambia Moral Congress has said that the new Gambia cannot be realized without the new Gambian mindset. Mai Fati was writing on a social media page last evening. That was, he said, the former Interior Minister explained that he said, and I quote, "I believe the new Gambia cannot be the new Gambia cannot be a reality without a new Gambian mindset, unless business as usual and the culture of attitude are reinforced, refashioned, transformed, and the system shall remain challenged." Those are the words of Mai Ahmed Fati. And continuing with the Point newspaper, Fabakary Tombong Jatta raised eyebrows over Alhaji Barrow's appointment at TRRC, and that his appointment generated a lot of debate when Mamadou Sabally and several other people challenged the appointment of Alhaji as the head of research and investigation of the Truth, Reparation and Reconciliation Commission. And at the weekend, during the press conference, the APRC leader, interim leader rather, also said that he is not fit to be in that position because he took up arms against the previous regime of President Chame. And foreign powers cannot ensure our security. This is another story from the interim leader of APRC party, Fabakary Tombong Jatta, saying that the Gambia security cannot be guaranteed by foreign powers. And the GPU students benefited from Turo Dabo's benevolence. The students of the Gambia Press Union School of Journalism also received some money from the philanthropist Mamadou Turo Dabo. And the Daily News also is reporting that the Auditor General appears before the Janneh Commission. That is from the Daily newspaper. And finally, I will look at the Voice newspaper. The Voice is APRC blames Barrow government for injustice. That is also a story from the press conference where the opposition has slammed President Barrow-led government for being biased, describing the arrest of one of their prominent members, Lai saying as selective justice. Lai was arrested and is currently standing trial for making a derogatory remarks about Mandinka people. They also reporting that Sirif Bojang elected president of the Gambia Press Union. And timber dealers also lament over ban on log businesses. So that's all we have for you today for our papers. I will now talk to someone. We received reports that he resigned from the APRC party. I will try to reach him and see if he can confirm that story to me. Meanwhile, I will also have Sirif Bojang Jr., who been elected as the president of the Gambia Press Union. So I have, hello?
Yeah.
I have on the line now, I have Mamadou Alieu Bah, who served as the former Interior Minister. Mr. Bah, welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, we received reports that you have resigned from the APRC party. Can you confirm this to us?
Yes, that's correct. In fact, I have sent you a copy of my resignation letter on your WhatsApp. Have you seen it? Oh,
I did not receive it yet. I will check.
Okay.
Okay, right. So when was this? When did you resign from the party?
This is effective today, the 10th of September.
So you resigned from the party today?
Today, yes.
Why did you resign from the APRC?
Yeah, this is in close consultation with my family, with my close associates. I have to take this decision.
Why did you resign? You said it was in close consultation with your family and friends, but the reasons why you resigned from the party, that's what I want to know.
Yeah, because I can't, I can't no longer, work with the party, and then you are aware that there's an internal problem since June on the 1st. And then this problem has been dragging until date. So I just want to give this a chance. And then, let it continue. Because,
okay, is it a power struggle in the party? That is the reason why you are resigning from the party, or there is something more?
Not at all. This is not about power struggle at all. I never asked for power. I'm not interested in power. It's just that I feel I can't any longer work with them.
So, what impact will your resignation from APR, the party, have, or resignation have on the party?
I know, one thing I know, I've been doing well for the party. I've been, supporting the party, and then I was also able to mobilize people to the party. I know it will have an impact on the party, so for sure.
So what next for you? Are you forming another political party, or are you going to join one of these political parties?
I am, considering, joining one of these political parties.
Which political party do you have in mind?
No, I didn't, make my mind yet, but I'm joining, going to.
How soon will you make up your mind to join one of these parties?
I'll let you know. I will let you know, very soon. Once I'm done, I just want to have a putting space for now, and then I would decide, what to do next.
Is it going to be a ruling party or opposition party?
I don't think, it's going to be an opposition party anymore.
So, put quite simply, you might join the Barrow as usual.
Let's see, what happens. I didn't take any, decision yet.
But if you have to join anyone, you think Barrow will be the right place, and that's where you will throw your heart to join Barrow in moving the country forward.
Anyway, this is our country. We need to work for the country. I've been working for this country, and I think I have a bit of experience to help move.
Let's just get this right. I'm going to join Barrow because Sidin Jai also did. He left APRC and is now Barrow, 100% Barrow. Have you seen another MA bar in Barrow's camp?
To be frank with you, I haven't decided on anything yet. Definitely, I haven't taken any decision yet.
Okay, what will be, because you said you have some followers and you have rendered some support to the APRC party, so what will be your message to your supporters? Are you telling them to stay in the party, or when you are moving to that new party or new political party, you want to move, you move with them?
You see, politics is all about interest. My followers, they are mature people, and they know what is good for them. So I think they also take the right decision.
All right. Thank you so much, Emeba, for your time.
Thank you, Omar Wari.
Well, that is Mamadou Aliuba, the former Interior Minister of the Gambia, who was also an interim leader of the APRC party, and he has informed us that he has resigned from the APRC party effective today. I spoke to the leader, the spokesperson, Amul Nyasi, said he is not aware of any of this resignation. But I will take a short break. When I return back, I will have an interview with the newly elected president of the Gambia Press Union.
South Africa
Sheriff.
Dalaba Housing Estate is our newest estate located on the Sukuta Jabang Road. You can buy a finished 2 or 3 bedroom house or service plots accompanied with a free fence and gate. At Dalaba Housing Estate, you get to enjoy bituminized roads, gated and fenced properties, solar street lights, water reticulation, public amenities, 1,500 fruit trees aligned in streets and many more. Make a 40% down payment today and spread the balance conveniently for 10 years with GTBank, EcoBank and Trust Bank. Terms and conditions apply. Wait, this is the best part. We are giving a discount on outright payments. For more information and exceptional service, please call our office line on +220 4410 Better still, call us on mobile or via WhatsApp on +220 376 2333 or +220 776 2333. You can also visit our website on www.tafafricahomes.com. TAF Africa Global. Our experience is global. Our focus is Africa.
Welcome back after that short commercial break, and I'm Omar Wali, and I'm here with the newly elected president of the Gambia Press Union, Sheriff Bojang Jr. Sheriff, welcome.
Thanks for having me, Omar.
Congratulations once again.
Thank you.
You will agree with me, you have a big task ahead.
It is huge, and I knew that, and everybody who participated in one way or the other to my campaign, from the young journalists who convinced me to contest, and to the executive, the current executive members, anybody who is associated with me and myself, we know the tasks are very huge, but then this is what we want to do, and then we believe no matter how huge these tasks are, we are going to strengthen the way we do things in the Gambia as a media fraternity, and which is why we went into this race, and this is our task from today.
Okay, when you talk to journalists in the Gambia, they will be like, the laws are in place, the bad media laws. But there are also problems with the journalists itself. You look at the quality of journalists in this country, you look at the media chief, you look at the media houses. What will you do to improve the working conditions of the journalists in this country? We have seen some of them without appointment letters, some don't have contract, and so on.
Yeah, so these are all problems, and I have said that from the onset, from the debate to my personal interaction with everybody. We have these laws that we've always been fighting for, and to acknowledge the efforts of journalists who were there before us, the data hiders, even before that time, the Demba Jaos, Alaji Yoro Jallos, everybody else who've been working tirelessly, you know, to make sure that we have a conducive atmosphere and space to operate as, you know, media personalities, as journalists. But then you mentioned something which is also right, and which I have been talking about, the issue of it's easy for us to see these problems, for example, the government, the issues of these bad laws and stuff. But when it comes to us, individual journalists, and within the community, you know, to work with, there is a problem too. The issue of capacity building, we spoke about this, and this is one of the issues that actually convinced me to, or propelled me into vying for this position. I mean, here is a country, you can understand, 22 years we have dictatorship where there was no safe journalism. Even sports journalism can learn you. We've seen journalists who got into trouble because they are sports journalists and they wrote about sports. We've seen journalists who got into trouble for agriculture, you know, even mentioning the wrong thing could land you in trouble. And throughout the 22 years, the space for journalists to operate was not there. People try to do this safe, quote unquote, safe journalism. So you can understand where the inefficiencies are coming from. But then, you know, capacity building is something that we cannot take for granted. Today we have journalists, we have all these trainings, I've said this before, we have all these trainings funded by the Gambia Press Union. I mean, given donor funds and all these things. Every day there is a new form of training.
Yeah.
Either as I speak to you now, I think there's an investigative journalism program, there is court reporting program. Our journalists will go into these programs, get all these certificates. Some will go to university, get diplomas, get degrees. But at the end of those programs, you realize they are not ready for the job market. They are not employable. Then something is wrong somewhere. So for us, our mandate, what we're going to do from the word go when we take over, is to revisit some of these programs. Those ones that are not working, we have to eliminate them. The ones that are working, we have to strengthen them, but we have to train our people in a way that at the end of that training, they are ready for work. They are ready to work and they are ready to be employed. You also mentioned the issue of, even among ourselves, the issue of ethics. Exactly. We've seen journalists, even on the social media, writing anything. I mean, mixing activism with journalism. Because, you know, I don't know any newspaper, for example, or media house here that you go, they give you employment letter, and then they give it to you alongside a code of ethics. Gambia Press Union, this current administration, came up with a code of ethics, a very fine booklet. I've interacted with journalists. Most of them are not aware that there is any code of ethics. They don't even know what code of ethics are. I'm sure some of them, they will think is a brand name of a car. But how do you work in, especially a media environment where your work is not guided by any code of ethics, no code of conduct? That means you can do anything. You can go put a photo of a rape victim or a child on the social media. But so what we're going to do, this book is there, the code of ethics. We have to revisit. Hopefully, we're going to strengthen it, and we're going to try to do more sensitization on it. If possible, we're going to even enforce it to make sure that every journalist operating in this country abide by the code of ethics. This is safe for us. It is safe for the community, you know, the news consumers, and it is best for everybody. So these are some of the things that we plan to do, and they are not long-term plans. These are plans that we're going to have to go through from the word go.
Now, you talk about the ethics, but even the problem has to be with the membership. How would you work on that? We have over 300 or more journalists in this country, but out of that, only 76 voted in this election.
Or where, I mean, or we are registered to vote.
Yeah.
Well, I think one of the reasons for that is that, look, this current administration, they've set the foundation. They've done amazing well, taking Gambian media, Gambia Press Union from somewhere to this where we are. If you look at it, I mean, I was there before 20 years ago. I've been a member of the Gambia Press Union for the past 20 years. I know where we were and where we are now, where this administration took us. But I think one of the things they might have taken for granted is the issue of communication to allay fears. There's been a lot of suspicion, and most of the time is based on illusion, is based on speculation. But when you don't give people the information that they need, they don't necessarily ask for, is a problem. Over the years, we've seen that a lot of young, especially young journalists, lost interest or confidence in the current administration. And I think, you know, you meet people, they'll tell you, oh, they are corrupt. They see the Secretary General coming with a new car, he stole from us. He didn't steal from us. But then the problem is, it went to a stage where there was a big barrier between those, the secretariat, the elected leaders, and those, the rest of the membership. So there is suspicion, they're suspicious of each other. As a result, you meet journalists, oh, I'm not bothered. You tell them, go and pay your dues, I'm not going to pay. That's why we ended up having last-minute payment. So for us, what we want to do is to make the Gambia Press Union more inclusive. People-run union. We are there for you people who elected us. You tell us how you want us to run your affairs. It is not my affair. It is not anybody's affair. Not any of them, Mustafa, anybody in the executive. It is your affairs. We are here because we cannot all run the affairs at the same time. That's why we're here. Come to us. Everything will be transparent. The issue of transparency. When we have funds, the current administration or the outgoing one, I think they did well in that, but there is room for improvement. We want to make it much more transparent than it has been over the past few years. Whenever there is money, especially money concern, we want our members, and we would want our members to know that we're not doing this because we feel it is a way of earning salary. No, it is not. Some of us are going to volunteer our time, our energy, our resources, everything to make sure that the welfare of our people are met. I want to preside over a Gambia Press Union that will be inclusive, that will be friendly to the rest of the members. If you are, that's why The moment we take over power in the next 2 weeks, what we're going to do, because we realize there is a problem, and one of the problems is you see journalists who's, you know, over the years have a lot of problems, issues with the leadership. They are not happy, but they never say this, at least in the public. You know, they never say this. They never, you know, went to the press union to say, okay, we're not happy with that. All you have is gossip, gossip, gossip. So we want to put a box there where people will come. If you prefer to be anonymous, to complain about something, there is a box. Put it there. We make sure every day we open it. We read your mails. If you want not to be identified because you fear there might be reprisal or something, it's fine by us. But we are there. We'll do regular consultation. I think before what we are, meetings sometimes took ages, months and months. We will try to make sure that we meet regularly with the membership, to make sure that you tell us how we, okay, 3 months, 2 months, how have you been doing? What did we do wrong? What do you think we need improvement on over the past 2 months? Tell us, and we do it. We're not going to wait for 6 months. In that way, we hope dignity will be restored, confidence will be restored, and there will be no issue where I will come with a car, everybody say he robbed us, he steal our money, where too we can better serve our people. This is what we want to do.
Sanity, let's talk about the barefooted journalists. How will you get rid of these people? Because we have seen secretaries, news presenters, secretaries, commentators, our radio waves, our social media. How are you going to make sure that we have a clean system so that we can have some degree of respect in this content? People can have a confidence in, because we have seen how things are on social media. People just rant on Facebook and so on. You see journalists are so partisan. Journalists are defending political parties in this country. How can we get rid of that, the barefooted journalists?
Well, I was very mindful, even at the campaign, these questions came, even those people who, you know, came up to me, who campaigned for me, who voted for me, they asked this question. I was very mindful, and I will still be very mindful and cautious. This is not just Gambia's problem, this is a global problem. How do we define who a journalist is? How do we differentiate a chaff from the wind? This is a problem. I will come back to the issue of code of ethics.
Sure.
If bloggers and commentators on the social media want to call themselves journalists, at the moment we don't have any clear set of rules. I mean, this is a global problem. We've had these problems are going on even in the most advanced countries. But at GPU level, at least for the short term, what is in our hands is we cannot go and tell somebody, don't call yourself journalist, stop commenting on the social media, stop doing this, stop taking side. But what we can do is, like I said, the code of ethics. Code of ethics, these are our rules, the do's and don'ts, especially the don'ts. You cannot do this, you cannot do that. Somebody cannot be fighting, like, okay, let's say one tribe, the case of Mr. Sen in Banjul, the Mandinka and so on, and then you go, I saw journalists, Gambian journalists, who went on the social media, instead of even helping to diffuse the tension, they're sparking it. And some of these journalists are those who took part in sensitive reporting, conflict sensitive reporting that I presided over. But the same thing you realize, and then you have the impression that they learned nothing from it. So our code of conduct will be very clear, will be very precise, will be very detailed, to make sure that these are what you do, these are what you don't do. Then people can decide. Facebook, social media, Twitter, everywhere is open. If people want, but we will encourage the newsrooms. What we have control over is the traditional media. Our newsrooms, radios, television, newspapers, we will encourage, we will dialogue with the management of those, the ownership, because we cannot, we can bargain, we can negotiate. As of now, we cannot force anything. But the ones that are working as traditional journalists, we have to make sure that they go by the rules. But then anyone else who want to go and open a space on the social media and be speaking and say things, we cannot control that. As I speak to you at the moment, and these are not our immediate plans, because we want to capitalize on things that we can control. And among these things, which we've not yet mentioned, is the welfare of our people. The number one reason, among all the reasons that actually got me into getting into this race, is the issue of our welfare of journalists. About 20 years ago, I started journalism in this country at the Daily Observer, and of course I went to the independent newspaper. A lot of these young journalists who are now here, who are, you know, doing journalism, they should be very, very young, or somewhere not born. But then I had a problem. Even to get a fare to go to Brikama from Backout, it was $2. Westfield to Brikama was a problem. I had employment letter, I think in 2 paragraphs, no medical insurance, which means if I got sick, I fend for myself. No any other insurance, anything. Sometimes you don't even, now you see some journalists, they don't even have press cards.
Yeah.
So identify, this is the most basic thing you can do. But media owners send journalists to their reporters to even cover protests, violent protests, without press card. That means you can be taken for a protester and killed, nothing. I am in a position, 28 years down the line, I've seen the same thing. Now I'm in a position to say that this is unacceptable, it shouldn't happen. The issue of people not getting paid. Yeah. You work, you freelance. I had some stories, you are paid $25 for story. Yeah. You spend more than that to get that story. Exactly. But then you mingle with these, you interact with these young journalists, they tell you, you know, journalism, you cannot be rich, there is no money. I tell them it's not true. It's not true, you can be rich. I mean, I don't know what is the definition of being rich, but you can be financially comfortable and financially stable, like bankers, like architects, like everybody. So you don't accept it. So from the word go, we're going to engage. I know the Gambia Press Union, the current administration, has been engaging the media owners about the plight of their reporters. We're going to go back to the table to discuss this, to revisit, to discuss, to make sure that our people's welfares are met. Again, we cannot impose, we cannot tell them, you must do this or you go out, but then we can engage them, negotiate. I want to be an optimist here, I want to be positive about it. They're going to reason. But then if nothing works, for example, well, no matter what, papers are being published. Radio, airwaves, they never stop. Perhaps I don't want to, you know, I don't expect this will come to that, but at the end, I think our last option is we can also encourage our members to put down their pens and cameras and microphones and boycott the newsroom to make sure that they are paid accordingly. They are paid for what they do. Because I am a shining example. Yeah. It's unacceptable when people work. If you employ somebody full-time, you give him medical insurance. You give him a decent allowance to go from, you know, so that at the end of the day, like everybody else, they can take money home to their families and look after their interests. But then you cannot work in the sense that this quote-unquote thing, oh, you know, it's journalism, there is no money, there is money, and you can be rich.
There is money and you can be rich. Viewers, that is Sheriff Bojang Jr., the President of the Gambia Press Union. So finally, Sheriff, what will be your final message before you leave?
My final message will be to, first of all, I want to thank everybody, especially the membership of the Gambia Press Union. I'm relatively an unknown person. I've been away for so long, but then even as a result of that, people came out, people supported, people campaigned, and everybody on the social media. You didn't vote, but the buzz was, I didn't expect this. So thank you everybody who campaigned in one way or the other. And my final message is to our members. Journalism, Gambian journalism has been under a lot of attack. First, dictatorship, but then now no dictatorship, but then we've been criticized quite often. Myself, I've criticized my colleagues in the open, but then so in order to stop that criticism and make people to trust us once again and what we do, we need to take responsibility. We need to be responsible. We need to make sure that our integrity, dignity as media men and women are intact. This is the only way. If we don't take our work seriously, then there is nothing that we win. And then people should stop from, desist from this issue of having godfathers. Yeah. People come to you with money. This is Gambia. People are going to come to you with money. That's been happening. Don't take it. Don't take the money. Integrity, once you take it, your integrity. You don't owe anybody anything. You owe the public that information, and the information has to be impartial, has to be independent, has to be accurate, and has to be fair. Don't look at anybody's interest, any individual interest. You owe the Gambian people this much. Together, all of us as a family, this is what we're going to do. We're going to fall together and we will rise together as a family, as a media fraternity. We don't owe anybody anything. We owe you, the Gambian people, everything. Thanks for having me, Omar.
Thank you. That is Sheriff Bojang Jr. But before you go, I was campaigning for someone and that candidate did not win. Did you undermine me anyway?
No comment. Don't put me in trouble. We're all suffering from that. Amazing campaign, amazing everything.
So I don't even get it.
Well, I think the candidates should know that you are supposed to nominate him, and it took you 2 hours to get up. So now we both need to find new friends for now until the candidate is, calm and everything.
Somebody had to notify me and said, yeah, sitting and your candidate is not nominated. So
well, I hope he's not listening. Everybody's running away from, so people are running away from him for now.
Oh,
but then an amazing person.
I'm not a good campaign manager. My candidate. Thank you so much, Sheriff Bojang Jr. Thank you for your time. Well, viewers, that is Sheriff Bojang Jr. He has been elected the president of the Gambia Press Union. He succeeded Emily Toure, who has been there for the past years. We will take a short break. When we come back, we'll continue with the show.
So Ross to Radio Gambia. Thank you.
Right.
Save 1 gigabyte of internet data for free.
Social Innovation commemorates the International World Suicide Prevention Day. The day was celebrated with an awareness walk from traffic lights to Westfield. Speaking to the CEO, she highlighted the relevance of the commemoration.
Suicide is a problem. Every 40 seconds, somebody dies of suicide all over the world. Also, the burden of suicide is so much higher in low and middle income countries. And thirdly, in the Gambia, suicide is a stigma. Mental health generally is a stigma, but suicide is also a stigma because people don't talk about these things. So we need to tell people or let people know that it's okay to talk about suicide. It's okay to open up because that's how we can save lives. Essentially, we're going to do a walk today, as you can see. We're also hoping to come up with support groups so that people who are contemplating suicide, people who have tried to commit suicide before, attempted suicide but have not been successful, so they can come and talk about these issues, even family members who have somebody who has experienced suicide before, because these are things that affect not just the person who commits suicide, but everybody who is affected or who is connected to that person. First of all, we're trying to start conversations because it's very important. We have to talk about it. Because usually people believe that if somebody wants to commit suicide, it's not preventable. But it is preventable because most of the time when people want to commit suicide, they're actually looking for hope. They're looking for somebody waiting, hoping that somebody can stop them. So when people know that, I can stop this person, I can talk to this person, I can offer compassion, I can offer hope, that will hopefully make a difference. So that is what we're hoping to start conversations that can really help people stop committing suicide. And I'm hoping that in the next 5 years, that when it comes to mental health, the mental health narrative in the Gambia will change. That people will be more open. People will talk about it more. People will not be ashamed to come up and say, I have a problem, because that is how we can offer help. That is how we can really change the whole stigma issue going on.
From AfriCell, it's always real and it's for free.
Where AfriCell goes, no one has the speed to follow.
Welcome back. That was the story on the organization Psychosocial Innovation. They held a walk to commemorate World Suicide Protection Day today, and the story was prepared by Jaka Sise Sawane, Jaka Sise Jaite rather, excuse me for that. And viewers, that's all we have for you today. Had the president of the Gambia Press Union, Sheriff Bojang Jr., told us that he'll bring sanity into the Gambia, into the Gambian media. And former British Prime Minister Tony Blair also met President Barrow today at State House. And a former Interior Minister who also served as one-time leader of the APRC party, Aliu Mamadou Ba, has also resigned from the APRC party. We received the letter. He has confirmed to us. So that's all we have for you today. I am Omar Wale, and from me and my team, thank you so much for your time. Till tomorrow.